Let me know now if you can hear me. Can you hear me now? One, two, three. I think you should be able to hear me now. Just write me in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me now. Perfect. Okay. All right. So you should be able to hear me now, and we can start finally the stream. uh, so what I wanted to show you guys today before we begin is, first of all, I shared in the chat with you, to those who are members of the community, this a reference picture, right, where I will be basing my character on. And also I will be sharing with you also my mood board, right? I'm just gonna show you my mood board because some of you were asking like, what is a mood board and what do you do with it? So we can just I can share you my mood board and explain to you also what the mood board is about, right? And how you can help it, how you can use it to help you with your drawings. So pretty much, like if you go um, to Pinterest, you can see like let me bring the Pinterest mood board, and you can see that you can ping different pictures that really are interest you, and you can do that also based on a subject, right? So what I have done here in this mood board, right, is I have pinned some different um, pictures that I like, for example, that can also help me with my character design. So I have some pictures from Studio Ghibli, right, from this princess. So also some other shamans. It doesn't matter that they are not the same pose, for example. It's just more for inspiration purposes, right? So we can see, for example, like why if I want to do a Mayan-based shaman, right? What kind of different costumes I can have a look, right? Or different weapons they are using. Most probably, I'm gonna go for a kind of a weapon that is more like a spear, just because we're doing kind of a shaman wizard kind of thing, right? I also was thinking maybe I will do something around a bear theme. I don't know, maybe a bear claw or a symbol or something around that. And of course, I have different inspirations about faces and what they wear on their faces, right? And also even other paintings that I liked, and I wanted to have a look here. So based on this board, right, that I'm explaining, I can just get inspiration from this board and see either from other photos or from other artists, and get inspired and do something on original, right? That's the whole idea, and this is how all these pictures together are called are called the mood board, pretty much, because it sets the mood around the theme you wanna draw. And the whole idea is you gather some pictures. It doesn't have to be hundreds of pictures, right? Usually 20 to 30 or 40, right? I think now I have like 44, maybe it's a little bit too much. But this is something where you can use to guide you. For example, these patterns here, we could use them on the character and so on. So I would definitely encourage you to, when you drawing your own characters, to use this kind of boards, right? Based on the theme you wanna actually have, and also really get inspired and to do something in the. Yeah, it can also have color palettes, right? Of course, if you want to create a specific color palettes, it can be even from a movie that has specific color palettes, right? If you want to set a theme, let's say you want to do a dark theme or a light theme or something like something from a specific movie with specific colors. Of course, it can also have colors too. It can also be something completely different that gets you inspired, like let's say, even though you're making a character, it could be even let's say a scenery that gets you inspired. That would be either the feeling or even the colors from the scenery. For example, if you're doing something over now, right, like that is kind of all these colors on the trees are actually orange or deep reds and so on, and you want to do a character around this season, it could be pictures of this kind of trees that can get you inspired in using these colors, for example. So that's the mood board. I can also drop the link in the chat so you can have a look, right, on your own later, and then I can just move back to my drawing, and then we can start first of all establishing the pose and seeing where we go with that. At any point, if you guys see any issues with the stream or the sound, just again let me know in the chat so I can have a look and try to fix it. Okay? Because I don't know, somehow today maybe it's the connection. So I'm using Clip Studio today. I'm trying it out for the past 3 weeks. I had bought it in the past, like 2-3 years ago. I gave it a try. I didn't really like it compared to Krita, but I said let's give it a try one more time. I also set up some custom brushes for this, which they help me more on my own process, and I want to use it today. So let's see how it goes, and maybe I'll make it kind of a second, right, art program. So in any case, if you have any questions on what I'm doing, on how I'm thinking, just also drop them in the chat, right? I'll try to reply as soon as possible. The whole idea here also is like I don't want to just copy the reference, right? The whole idea is just to create something original. I'll take the reference, get as much information as I can from it, and then we'll go away from the reference by using the mood board and try to also do something original. And why I chose this reference, maybe I can just give you some points on this. What I like from this reference is the way that it creates this kind of triangle composition, right? And based on that, I wanted to actually use this and create kind of an interesting, let's say, pose for my character. So I'm just gonna start with a kind of gesture, right? And then we will go more into details on later. I'm just setting up the pose at the moment, just looking at the reference and just seeing the rhythms like this S line here, right, that we have. I like it, so I'm gonna maybe do it a little bit more and just push the shoulders and the pelvis a little bit more. Yeah, yes, Violet. This is still available. The channel, you can find it as you go to the profile, right? It will say back to drawings. Uh, just give me one moment to get the name. When you go to the profile, it will say back to drawings special art community. And if you click this link, right, you will be able to just go to the channel and then just press join. It's completely free. There is no cost in joining the channel. And the benefit you get effectively is you will get more, let's say, behind the scenes stuff like some work in progress or early news on any lives that I'm doing. Also, for example, in this channel, I shared this reference for this drawing, right? So you'll get all kinds of fun stuff, and it will be more like a way to communicate much more, let's say, kind of more direct. And yes, it's still active, yes. Now for the hand, right, I don't want to go into details because I'm on the gesture, but what I will do is just try to find the gesture of the hand, right? So what I see here is, you see this one and this one, right? This is kind of this shape here. And this is where I'm starting to pretty much based on that, I'm starting to get my different shapes around, right? And this is what I see when I see the hand. So I'll just put this down, right? This shapes down, maybe exaggerate them a little bit, and just imagine that the hand is coming from this side, and just do some kind of scribble. And this is gonna be the head, and effectively this is kind of the pose. Gonna also try to all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Was it stopped?
No. Good.
I also have my wife here helping me on the status of the
On the line.
on the live. But maybe what I want is I want to stylize a little bit and try to just pass it through a soft eraser and maybe just push a little bit of the stuff and a little bit the pose. And the angle here, right? So I'll just maybe that would be even better angle. And just push this stuff a little bit more. And I always try to be here, try to still stay on some kind of a distance, right? And pretty much not go into details if I can avoid it. All right, I think we're done with the pose. Let me just now go a little bit more into details and try to figure out anatomy. So the whole idea is we want to establish a good base, right, where we can put all the different elements then on top, pretty much. Yeah, the triangle is more for me to not go away from the composition, right, that I want to create. I like this triangle here, that it's creating this composition, right? And that's why I started using it in the same way, because that's what that's why this pose is interesting for me, right? Because it creates this triangle composition based on the pose. All right, so I'm just gonna zoom a little bit, right, and try to. I'm gonna try also to stylize it, right, and just have here with a smaller waist, right, a little bit smaller torso, a little bit further the legs, right? As you can see already here, the legs are further than like this is like that, and this angle is more steep, just to try to come up with more of an interesting character. Okay. Yeah, it's also the envelope, right? If you wanna create an envelope, right, and be even more great. Thanks for joining, Blissful Soul. Like, if you wanna actually even do it also for correct measurements, then you have to go a little bit more into being more specific with this, and then just try to create a nice envelope around the whole body like that, right? And then do this, and then start from this one, right? What we have here is we have this, 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 and this. And then you create this envelope. Of course, as I said, this angle is different than this one, right? Because I want to push it even more. But if you want to go for accuracy here, then you have to treat it like that, right? A little bit more like that. You also try to bring it a little bit more here, just so you can see the whole reference. Yeah, that's cool, thanks. And if you have any questions in the chat, just keep asking, guys. Sometimes it may be that I will get into the zone, kind of, right? And I'm maybe missing something.
What brushes do you use in Krita?
In Krita, I use a combination of the default brushes. That's Clip Studio, by the way, it's not Krita. And some of my brushes that I already have a link to my profile. In my profile, in my Instagram profile, if you go to this beacons link, you will also see a link to my Gumroad where you can find my brushes completely for free. And the combination of the other brushes are default brushes from Krita, which are around sketching brushes and so on. I'm just doing some indications of some structure here. Because I want to try to figure out where are the different shapes, right? And my point here is not to um, not to do an anatomy course, right? But just figure out the different anatomical structures that I'm really interested to. Gonna make the head a little bit bigger, just because I like kind of bigger heads. And we will not pay so much attention on her hair or so on, because most probably we're gonna change it. But that's why I'm just sending some basic stuff here. Just make a little bit, move it a little bit, the head. Come here with a little bit of more neck. And let's just do some more indications on the so now I'm trying to find more the gesture of the fingers, right? This kind of stuff. Now it's the time for more details. It's quite an interesting finger pose. I think this should be kind of like that, and a little bit higher. And another thing is that don't be afraid to do any adjustments, right? Like if you think stuff that they don't make sense, right? Don't just be afraid to move them around, right? Do a lot of adjustments and just feel more comfortable with what you're doing. Let's zoom out a little bit I think this is okay. I like this. And also good example that how I draw the chest, the woman's chest, is I create kind of a heart here, and then figuring out the perspective is like that. I will just drop a little bit that and just make this a little bit higher. I don't want also the chest to be too big, right? Because it's a warrior S, right? And I like this also this one because it's not really giving any emphasizing on the chest, because we want to make it like a warrior and kind of a big chest then would have been more like a more a female, more feminine character, right? Where we want to give her more of a sexy look, or that kind of like that. So when you draw your characters, think about what do you wanna indicate, right? Do you wanna indicate a strong character, right? Like an army warrior, a female warrior. Go and emphasize a little bit more the muscles or this kind of stuff, right? Do you wanna go for a more of pin-up stuff? Go for the more feminine look, so you can actually yeah, kind of. Yes, kind of that. Exactly. Just think about what you're designing for, right? Let's have a look also, flip the side. Let's have a look if it looks okay. I think maybe the leg is a little bit too pushed here, right? Just gonna maybe just free transform it here and then just move it a little bit. And I think we are at the stage now where we can start looking for different things based on our boards, pretty much. So what I'm gonna be doing now is trying to figure out like and see and put here on different, let's say, kind of clothing, for example, or kind of props, so I can create different ideas on my character, right? So I'll just maybe just copy a few things from the board, right, and try to play around and see how they look, for example. Like this image here, like this image here. They're small still, but I'm gonna make them bigger a little bit. Like this image here. I'm gonna start from the downside, right, from here, legs, and we're gonna do some ideation. Style reference, yes, you can also use style reference, right? If you have a specific artist that you like a lot, then you can use kind of a style of reference. And for example, what I used in the character that I did, let me just quickly show you for which character I'm talking about. I did a vampire character quite some weeks ago, right? I did this one, and this character, right, has some inspiration from the known Netflix Arcane series, right? Because if you see, let me just quickly bring another image, right, from some of my pins. If you see, there's this character called Silco, right, in this series, and if I bring him, like, forgive me because there are too many, like you see with his character also, he has different, like, um, uh, let's say different scars on his head, but also the kind of style of rendering is also very, very, um, how can I say it, right? It has um, triangles or boxes in the rendering. There were, for example, that his nose is very, like, with a specific pattern, right? And based all on all this stuff, right, I did this kind of style and tried to make it similar here. So more simplified shading, right? There is no real life shading on these characters, right? It's like blocks of transitions, for example, here. And based on this, I also had this in mind to shade it in this way. Of course, it's gonna be a little bit different, right? And it's gonna also get inspiration from how I say it. But this kind of you can use also as a style, and this is also a good exercise, right, to do. For example, if you want to match a style, maybe do maybe one character of this style, right? And then try to do your own character based on this style. That's a good exercise if you like specific artist style or specific movie style or specific, let's say, for example, from the Spider-Man. Many people have done Spider-Man characters from the latest Spider-Man anime movie, right? Into the Spider-Verse, where they liked the style and they drew their own characters on that. And style, the good thing is with style is that it's completely yours, right? It's an original character. Nobody can tell you, or if it's a fan art or if it's a derivative art from the things. The style is copyright free. Yeah. Let me just make them a little bit bigger, those ones, and just try to move them here and just, yes, apply transformation, and just try to get kind of from this reference, we can just try to see what we can do and get some ideation. So in a new layer now, I'm just gonna drop a little bit the opacity of this one and try to get some interesting clothes from this ones, right? So I'm just going for and following her body, right? I'm just going for different stuff, and let's see. And this will also help me in creating kind of the different folds, right? I don't think this is good enough. Let's just see what else it has here. Okay, so this is like that. It's a little bit, this thing stop here. Maybe we can make them a little bit bigger. and this goes like that, right? And we have like a fold here. And then we have a bunch of patterns. For example, we can either use the patterns we see here, or we can go back to the mood board and just figure out some other patterns. For example, I see this one, I like this one, for example, and I'm just pulling it in, and I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I think it's quite big, that's fine. And then maybe use this pattern for doing some stuff. Maybe I'll just also make it upside down, right? Just have the picket pattern on the downside and then smaller on this. And of course, this is the ground. So what I'm gonna do is maybe also just kind of make it here, because like if we see here, the whole ground, right, starts like that. It's around here on here, right, a little bit on the leg, and goes like this. And this is gonna give you a kind of a taste, right? Of a taste where the ground is. The way the hair suggests us. Sorry, can it make that one? The way the hair suggests is my favorite part on this one. Okay. Yeah, I think the hair is quite interesting. Let's go for this pattern. And the whole process here is like an ideation, right? Maybe we just put it directly here. You just do different ideas. You don't want to put too much time on them, right? And lose your complete. I think that's one, right? Where we can explore. Ah, okay. On the vampire. Okay, okay. I now got it. Yeah, I think the hair was from the Dracula movie, right? From Bram Stoker's Dracula, where I took inspiration on that, and then just and then I just did this kind of a very similar hair. So let's do another one. We stop on this, and then we just take all this stuff. Now you have to find this. Let's move this pattern here. So we used this one. Let's just try to do kind of a different one, right? Maybe let's just go with more like a triangle pattern. So that should be, that's the, okay. That should be, so it's going like that, right? And then it goes like this. And then, so the whole idea is also kind of try to follow and imagine that the leg is going like this, right? So this should come here, kind of. But I don't know what I'm gonna put here, but I like just to give it some kind of circle, and we'll have to see. Well, that's another one, I think. Sounds more like a, looks more like a Egyptian kind of thing, I think. Let's see, what do we have on the board? What could we go as a pattern here? I have this one here. Let me just copy the image and bring it in. And I have this here. And maybe create kind of a pattern like that, right? Where we have this stuff here. And here it can go like this, like they have, and here maybe it can go like that, like this. I think that's too complicated. Maybe we will just start it like that, and this. Yeah, I think that could be something else. And the other one is this gentleman here, which, let's see, let's just move it a little bit down and create a third one, more like a very simple thing with bones, right? Like a skirt, I think, could be. Right, and these are the stuff here. And he has like a big, like big belt, kind of. Of course, it's not a belt, but it's like a, looks like a belt. And then there are two bones coming in. And then maybe we can have the same patterns like this ones. Let's just move this guy, right, a little bit further, and we can have these patterns here, like this, and then these ones, right? And then they can appear here. Okay, so 1 is that, 2 is this, 3 is that. I think this one makes a lot of sense, I think, in my opinion. Because I like this one coming down and touching the ground. In that sense. So I'm gonna go with this one. Let me just enable back the reference of this. I just disabled it. And just hide this guy. And maybe we just do a little bit of corrections. Just make it a little bit more interesting. And let's see now on the upper side, what can we do? I'm also again looking at the board, right? And I want to create kind of a two-tone thing, right? For example, I have this kind of So this was the lower stuff. Let me just group it. I think somewhere it was also the okay. Kind of a two-tone. Okay. Yeah, the with this kind of way of doing stuff, your layer is going to be a little bit messy, right? Because you're trying to bring in references and get ideas and play around with a lot with your references and take elements from them and get inspired to do something original. But of course, you need to take a look at your different layers and don't get too overwhelmed with the layers. All right, so let's also do some ideas here and try to get kind of a two-tone stuff and get some face on this. So first of all, we're gonna do a face, right? And then on top of it, try to put stuff. So maybe I'll just like lower a little bit the size of the brush. And maybe also look at the prints I had for this. It's maybe gonna do and we don't need too much stuff. We just need some indications here, right? And then we can always go back and do details later. Um, I'm just taking ideas from her face, right? I'm not really trying to copy. And now it's time to maybe do some design. Let's try with something like maybe like this one here, right? Where we do where the hair would be something like that. And here don't be afraid to experiment a lot, right? Because like if you go to the standard ways of doing stuff, right? The character may not be. Just try things out, even though you may be thinking that this is not going to, too much here. This is not going to be good. You never know, right? Because from some idea it can come something else, and that you may never have anticipated. So the whole idea is like having having ways to experiment. Just trying different hair, different stuff, right? And then I know we have this, and we have this. And we have here, I don't know, maybe we'll put something like this here. So this is one iteration. I don't know about it. Let's see. Let's try another one. So this is another one, right? It starts like this. I like that kind of style. And then you could have something like this. It's like kind of goes to the eyes, right? And then you can have it like this. That looks like cool. It actually looks cool. And also, oh, okay, interesting. It also matches the. It's also very close to the Princess Mononoke from Ghibli Studio. And then you can have your hair like this ones, and then exaggerate maybe with the hair the triangle composition. Now I like this one. Let's go for the third one. Let's see. We don't know, right? This could be, maybe we change it a little bit because we wanna have a way to, see here face kind of, right? But we can take the same elements, right? The difference of the elements here, and then have this a little bit higher, this one, and then have this one. Like that. And maybe let's give it more of a look. I don't know if I like this. Okay, maybe let's try also from this other ones. Right. So let me just put this out and this out. But here there were some other guys that had some interesting stuff, like seeing another guy here. I'm not going to bring him in, but I'm just trying to get some ideas here. Some ideation. Right, and this guy has kind of a big thing. Just trying to see how are the shapes compared to the rest of the body, because I don't want to make it like heavy on the top. Although this looks like interesting, so maybe we can do like kind of this one, this kind of thing I liked from the other one, and this kind of stuff. So I'm looking at this guy actually, just to show you guys here what I'm looking for. Let me just quickly show you at this guy here. So I'm gonna try to maybe do a combination of the two. Yes. So I have this, right, and then he has these feathers and this one. But what we could do instead of the feathers is do some kind of repetition, right? And try to is this stream all right, by the way?
Looks like it. Yeah, it goes.
I don't think this is live.
It is, but it's always a bit later than what you see here.
Can you maybe close it down and restart your app? Just to we're just checking if the stream is right, guys. All right, cool. Okay, and we are doing great.
It's buffering.
It's buffering.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Are you having any trouble, or you can
No.
hear me well?
No, it's again up.
Just let me know in the chat, guys, if you are having any trouble with the stream, because it seemed like one
Sometimes it's buffering.
okay. So I was saying I'm just trying to do a kind of get inspired from this guy, but also like do a repetition with the patterns we have here, right? And then do kind of the same patterns.
Audio is perfect. Yeah, I do have some trouble with buffering, but I think it's on my side. No, I think it's.
I think maybe today is our side, but let's see. Let's continue and see if gets better. Okay. So this is one. I actually really like this one because it's giving a big element, a medium element here, and then maybe we'll go further and let's see on how we go. I like also the patterns, right? They get repeated here, and I can use the same patterns as the what was it? This one, I think. Yeah, this one. So I can use something like, oops, something like that. Like for this sides, right? And then use these different areas and then have here the same earrings as the other one. And that means by having a heavy kind of pattern here, let's see what we do for the here chest. So what we can do is, let me pick up some weapons that I have here. I have a few pictures of the weapons, and we can try to do some of the weapon patterns. So another layer here, and try to get some weapons around. And here you can I may also choose to, change a little bit her hand to be a little bit more front, right? And So if we imagine her hand is here instead of here, just move it a little bit like that, then we can have this kind of weapon. Let's see. Is it buffering again? No, right? Let's try to do some interesting shapes. So one thing could be we can use the same pattern as this weapon here and have here picking it up and just holding it like that. Or maybe we can just even move it, because I don't like this being, so we could just do it like this, right, which is gonna be a little bit more outside, and then move this one like this, so it can be like that, or we can even flip it on the opposite side, but let's see, I don't know yet. I have to figure it out. Or maybe even do a smaller one. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so I need to switch between two different browsers, and it's making stuff a little bit more complicated. So we have.
It's looking good so far. Let's go soul sets.
Okay. Cool, thanks a lot. Maybe we'll do a bit of it like a smaller one. And then two fingers here, and I just expose a little bit the hand, right? Because it's messy now, and we don't see anything, but we will just make it like that. And I don't have very good idea what is that here with this guy, but I think we maybe just keep it simple, right? Maybe we'll just keep it simple with just a small here, this pattern again, then we put some stuff here, and then some feathers, which we could use also here, the feathers, and just to have a combination. And I think a lot of the references that I have here are having different stuff on their feet, right? Like, for example, if you see this guy has a lot of stuff on their feet, so maybe we can just do something similar and try to figure out different designs, right? One design would be what exactly he has. right? Which is more like that. And sorry, it's buffering. Yeah, it's not a good day for life. But maybe we do something like the feathers that we are doing here and do similar stuff. Alright, this looks good. And we can also do some patterns here, right? Different similar. Oh no, I don't like that. Or maybe we can do like his guy's feet. Like this one, where we start and have a circle like on here, where we can have different circles and have this secondary pattern and have the circles being connected to something like this here. Yeah, I think this looks much better. All right. Oops. Let's close the references, right? And figure out also the last piece of the puzzle, where will be the upper torso. And we can just play around with some simple shapes, right? And one thing we could do is we could just put some simple bra, right? And just do it like that. One idea is that. And then have some things here. I don't know if that's good enough, though. On the bra. I don't know if this is a good pattern. Maybe we can bring some feathers. All of these. That's one thing. Let me do another one. The other thing could be, we could have like a more of a Mayan.
You have a question.
Yes.
How do you apply anatomy in the early stages?
How do I apply anatomy in the early stages? Yes. And then I like this one more, this pattern, because I can also do the patterns here, and I can just make a few feathers here, right? And just have, okay. I think this looks good. How to apply anatomy in the early stages? Effectively, when we started the stream, right? What I did is, let me hide the different stuff. Let me just, whatever is now open, I can just move it together and just make it like a group and hide. All right. So when we started, right, it was the pose, right, just the gesture, and then based on this gesture, I lowered the opacity and tried to, based on the reference, figure out the different anatomy areas, right? I don't have to go super detailed on the anatomy, but effectively the reference is helping me in that, right? For example, you have this bones here being connected down to the knee, right? You have the sartorius of the leg, right, and creating these muscles. Also, like you see this indication here, pretty much, right? You see here, kind of in the reference, you see here, here ribs, right, at this area, and also you can see the bone of the pelvis of the pelvis here being here. So this is the small indications you can get about the anatomy, right? And by having this areas, you can clearly um, have starting some indications based on your reference. This is when I apply the anatomy after the gesture, right? And then I don't have to apply, as we said, all the details of the anatomy just to figure out the pose correctly. And also I'm gonna, of course, kind of depending on your style, either stylize it or go more realistic, right? And then work on with structures like this one that you can see in already in this pose for me, like this one. This is a structure. This one is another structure here, right, which indicates the rib cage. So this is how I apply anatomy after I'm done with this, the gesture. Then I lower the opacity and then I try to apply, as you know, the different clothes, right? I'm not going to the details unless I figure out a lot of the elements of the anatomy in the picture, right? Like for example, here you can see here lats are here, right? Already it's an indication, and this is how I apply anatomy. And also this is how I stylize it here then, right? All right, I think the design is I think pretty much at the moment at the point where we can just go and hey Diboyat, thanks for the question. Thanks also for being a fan of my work. I really appreciate it, guys. Like, whenever you send me messages like that, you got help from my work or you get better. That's even the best news for me. The So which of the two I prefer, Krita or Clip Studio? Like at the moment, I like Krita's brush engine on painting a lot. I think it's a little bit superior. But having said that, I have Clip Studio version 1, right? I haven't bought the latest version. What I like from Clip Studio, for of course, is kind of the sketching possibilities and the liquify tool that it has, right? This is a very, very helpful tool to have because Krita's liquify tool unfortunately is very, very slow and it's not really optimized. So in a sense they have positives and negatives. I think both of them you can do great work with them, right? For example, the pumpkin painting that I did was completely in Clip Studio, like from start to finish, sketch and painting. And I also have done great work in Krita. So I think with both of them you can do great work. If you don't want to go into the situation of, going to a subscription mode like Clip Studio, because I think from version 2 onwards, you can buy version 2, I think, with one-time painting. But if you want to have all the updates all the time, you have to go to the subscription mode. Then if you don't want to spend money, then definitely Krita is completely free because it's open source, right? On the other side, if you think you're gonna, go more into wanting to, your software has to be supported because you're doing a lot of paid work on that. Maybe also Clip Studio is another way. Yeah, I will definitely, if you're not in a need to actually use Photoshop, I would just really avoid going with Photoshop at the moment, right? In my opinion, you can do painting equally good with Krita or Clip Studio. Yeah, so we are now at the point of actually um, sorry, I don't know if we are back online or we have dropped. Maybe we are
Right.
having some problems.
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you too for the question. It was quite interesting, of course.
Which one? Which one? Which one? Okay.
Let me know again, guys. I'm sorry that we're having so much trouble today. I don't know what's happening and why wh- why it's buffering like that. Let me know in the chat if you are able to hear me again, and then we can just continue.
Still buffering.
It's okay there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's cool. Most probably, maybe it's a thing from our side. All right. So if you can all hear me well, then I will just do what I did is I grouped all the images that I have selected for my character, right? And I'm gonna do also a little bit of uh, liquefying. Um, and based on that, I'm going to do a little bit of changes. Just move here, feet a little bit higher here, move a little bit stuff around like I actually want them, and enhance a little bit the kind of the pose. Of course, stuff I'm gonna start breaking a little bit, but I don't care because this is like a rough sketch, right? I'm gonna go over it after one point, and then do my final sketch. Maybe if you try with data.
Ah. Let me see.
Let's try with data. Maybe it's because it's everything on the same. Um,
Not wallet. Not wallet.
so I'm just liquefying a little bit the stuff, and I'm gonna also open the references that I chose for the different areas, like and keep these references open so I can have a look at what's happening and what kind of patterns I want to use. So I have this one. I have this guy. I'm just keeping them smaller just to have the indication. Okay, I have this guy which I really like
Came up again.
his hat. Yes. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have this. I don't have this. And this is my other sketches. All right. Okay. Then I think it's time to soft erase this. And I will just go over it and try with um, try to make my final sketch and also finalize my decisions, right? And here is also where someone should actually, zoom in and go into the details and see stuff, right, as best as he can. Right. Let's see. Gonna try to do the I'm gonna correct also maybe, you know, um, problems on the perspective, right? Pretty much. And at this stage, usually I'm gonna, zoom in, zoom out a lot, do this kind of stuff, so I can see how something is looking. Just trying to find my references and keep them close on what I'm doing. I don't think this is correct. We'll just take all this thing and then maybe just move it in a more of a, let's see, because this goes like a little bit more behind, and we wanna just make it like that. All right, I think it's looking more good like this. Here, let's just keep the perspective. the eyes would be more like that. And here also it doesn't mean that that you actually it's buffering, right? Interesting. And you're with data.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what's happening.
Now it's green screen.
Green screen. Okay.
Coming back. Let's see.
Yeah, so effectively the kind of the design process is done, right, at this moment. We are just going to the final design, and I don't know if it's going to take only one sketch, right, or if it's going to take even more. But in that sense, um, kind of on the character level, we are done, right? We can just say, okay, this is the character. We're just now going for the details, kind of stuff. Um, and then we're gonna maybe correct some things, right? Um, and just do the patterns that we were saying pretty much in the correct perspective. But all the ideation, oops, sorry, wrong brush. All the ideation has been done, right? Now it's time only for sketching skills, kind of. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm just going around and finalizing the sketch, kind of a final sketch, and then maybe I will do another one, which would be kind of the lines, right? Better lines, correct maybe some tangents. I don't know if you know what the tangent is. And based on this, I will just finalize. In case I don't have a specific schedule when I go live to you on YouTube. I'll try to maybe go maybe every 15 days, right, or every 3 weeks. But I don't have a specific schedule on when I go live. But what I definitely do is I try to announce it as earlier as possible, right? At least a few days before, and pretty much give the opportunity to the people, right, that they are following me on Instagram to know when I'm live, and be able to participate. It's gonna be some feathers, which I can do the details afterwards. And then we have the same pattern here, where we can use and repeat again and again for our character. And then do it also here. And then I can do some kind of indication of these circles. What's happening?
Give me an error.
It gave you an error?
Hmm.
So I'm trying to repeat patterns in general, right? And trying to keep the patterns kind of consistent, right? Where we have. So here I will just make this straight. And just figure out the shapes here, right, on this. And then have the pattern here again, bigger pattern. What we have decided for the character. And have the secondary pattern that it has here with this one and this kind of thing here. I think that's okay. And you can even put smaller patterns here, right? The same patterns are but very small here with a very small brush and create another pattern. So here we have this, and we have here leg, and we said this one should go around. Right, you can have this one like this. Of course this is behind. And we have the same, and here, and as we go here there are more kind of folds being created, and this side and this side we're going to give some indications like she has on the reference, some indications on the ribs, right? And then some belly indication here, and also put the belly button right here. And then we have this one here, right, the leg. And as you can see now it becomes more like a thing, right, on small corrections, because if you have everything done, right, if you have the anatomy done, the pose done before without any let's say clothes on top, you're not going to be wrong on the way you're putting your clothes on top, right, on your character. So there won't be any mistakes, and that's the cool thing in creating first the pose and the anatomy, kind of a naked character, right, and then going into this. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about this here. Maybe I'll do it a little bit smaller, and then just do some feathers. And then do a pattern here again. Right. This pattern that we have. And here on the leg down, I will do the other one, which is the circle. So there is a continuation all the time of what I'm doing, right, and what I'm really clearly showing. And here there's no need to do too much detail on the leg, right? The whole idea is we want to show that there is a leg, and that's it. And I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger here, the lower part of the leg, and just do this, and just do the pattern that I have. And that's it. Here I think it's looking good. Let's just also flip it, look at it a little bit from afar. Maybe take a sip of coffee. As usual, the live will remain on YouTube, right? Will be just remain on YouTube. I'm not gonna make it hidden or private, so you can always go back and have a look and then revisit areas that you're interested in. Let's see, this guy, I want him to be a little bit further than here because I don't want to have this. I'm gonna be anxious if I'm touching his picture while I'm drawing. Right, and then we have this one creating this. I'm gonna connect them like that. Have the connections here on this one, and then have this, and then have the feathers. So I'm doing big feathers, small feathers, medium feathers. Right, I'm keeping the feathers like and the shapes kind of interesting, so they are not looking at the same feather exactly, right? All good?
I don't know, it's buffering, I cannot see the chat. No, I can't.
Okay.
I have to close it and open it.
Several times, huh?
Yeah.
I think the hand, I will just, the arm here, this one, I will even move it even further up and just have it somewhere around here because I think it's way too low. And we'll just sketch it. Right, and this. I think this definitely needs some correction. This hand here. But let's just leave it at the moment like that and we'll figure out. Because I think this is what's happening here is the chest has to go here and the lats have to go here and then the hands have to come up like from here. But let's keep it like that at the moment and we will revisit it, right? Because here a little bit later this one is like that and this one is like that. This would be the shoulder, right? We have a boob and then here we're gonna move to do the other hand. Any tips on improvement anatomy? I would say for improving anatomy to do specific studies on what you want to improve, right? Do you want to improve on a specific area, like for example the torso? Do studies from front side, torso, then 3/4 studies, and this kind of stuff. The other thing is you want to understand how the muscles are interconnected, right? And how they work together. So you could also find references from athletes, from bodybuilders. I would definitely try to avoid going into women and trying to figure out anatomy from the female body, right? Because that would really make things very difficult for you. So try to focus first on men, right? And do a lot of studies on these areas. Like what exactly do you want to improve on this specific thing? And this is how you're going to improve, because this would be a studies on the specific subject you want to improve. A good thing also is to keep in mind to have different models that can help you, like 3D models of anatomy. Another great book about anatomy is Anatomy for Sculptors, where I also have, and it can help you with the different areas of the body. And of course, whenever you have any trouble, right, with anatomy, you have to, you can also use references, right? Like this one, for example, from Graphite Studio Graphite, sorry. This reference is from them, and it can help you a lot with figuring out different anatomical features, right? And don't have any problems in drawing. Now, if you're doing something completely from an imagination, the same stuff apply, right? Depending on the area, go and study this area, and just focus on the area you want to learn. I think this is completely wrong. So these are her fingers. All right. And I think that's a rough sketch on the final design. Right. And here the same, I think. I think we should try to correct a little bit the hand here. And here is messy. So I'll just correct a little bit the hand. So what I want to do is take this shape here. Right, take this shape. And that I have. So I'm trying first to establish the shape, and I have this one. So effectively this area here is the first part of the arm, and this is the second part of the arm, and it goes like that, right? And then it enters this shape in order to come in front. I have this, I have this, and then I have these two fingers here coming up with this ones. and then I have this. All right. And then let's move a little bit this. So we moved it a little bit higher. What's happening? Ah, it's saving. Okay. Also, another thing that I don't like with Clip Studio is that every time it saves, it stops me from drawing. Yeah.
And Krita? With Krita?
It saves, but it maybe it has a few hiccups, but that's it, right? So this is like that. And this, I need to bring it a little bit closer, like this. All right, that's better. And here we need to figure out again. We said the shoulder is here. This is one of the hands, right? And then we have this. We have the hand coming in, right? And we have this, and we have the finger, and we have the other part of the hand, and we have this. I think it's better now. Everything is figured out pretty much. The only thing that is missing is again a kind of better sketch where it could take from 1 hour to maybe even 3 hours. And I'm gonna do that kind of offline the next days. But the whole process about figuring out the character, figuring out the costumes and so on is effectively done here, right? And in this way we can say, I think this is a little bit more into perspective, like from like this angle. We can say this is the character. So pretty much this is what we have. This is the final design. And oops, yeah, we're still missing this foot here. Right. Just quickly draw it. Right. This is the final design, but what we can do extra is just to show you on what I did in the other characters is you can use another layer, because I'm not gonna do now the complete final sketch, but I'm just gonna show you a little bit on what I did in the other characters in terms of kind of this effect that I have. And what we can do is we can use something like color dodge layer and pick a color, and then have something like, sorry, a hard light maybe. Let's see, hard light, linear art, hard light. Yeah. And that could be like an effect, right, where we can create and guide the viewer to the different areas we want to guide them. And then here you can do different stuff, right? You can either have this coming from this ground here and have this effect going through here and maybe into her eyes, right? And give some kind of style. You can even use the symbol that I was thinking about in doing like a bear claw. Here. And I actually like this. And doing this kind of symbol. Or you can just maybe do something else like hard light. And have something starting from the hand, right? But of course you need to be careful to not completely destroy the hand pose here, right? But something starting from here, from the fingers, and then just coming in front. That's the other way to do it. And then just becoming bigger and going around here. Like this area could go like behind here and then come from here again in front of here. That's another way. Or a third way is to start from this one, right? From this one, and then just going maybe here or even around here, right? Just to give like different indications on where the magic is coming, right? And what's and then stylize a little bit and just don't have it kind of only a sketch like I did with the other ones. Pretty much this is what I wanted to show you guys on how you can start from something from a pose like this, right? And then use different references and create your own characters. So what we did is we started with a pose, then we did the gesture, then we've put then we did the final sketch, which is of the pose, which is this one. Then we did different ideas, right? Different ideation of clothing, of hair, of different props, right? And then we went and we created a final sketch, and then also you can have the different ideas on the different magic elements. That's a way to do a completely original character based on a reference. If you let me know if you have any other questions in the chat, or else I'm gonna leave you to spend your rest of the day, guys, as you want. And also thank you also a lot for joining on this live. And as usual, it's gonna be saved to YouTube and be public on YouTube. And also I'm gonna work a little bit, a few hours on this, a little bit further on the sketch, right? Make it more clear, and then just also post it on Instagram, the final result. So I'm gonna just wait a few minutes if you have any other questions in the chat, or else I'm just gonna say to you good evening or good rest of the day for you that it's not evening. At least now here in Germany where I'm located it's like 7:15. See you, Katerina. Thanks also for joining Harel Nefracture. I hope I'm Harel Nefracture.
Andy boy.
Thank you also for joining.
Andy boy. Art.
Ah, yeah, Andy Boy Art, of course. Thanks for joining. Yes. And Viola, thanks for joining if you're still here. Violet, I'm sorry. Violet Shiny, if you are still here, thanks for joining. And Blissful also, Soul, thanks for joining if you're still here. And for your questions, guys. All right, I don't see anything in the chat in terms of questions. Then, again, have a nice day, guys. Thanks for joining, and see you in the next live. See you, everybody.